Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. It's been a year since I've got this bike for myself. Back in April 4th of 2023, I took delivery at the Urban Locomotive Aliva showroom. I'll put up a couple of pictures of it.
Take it out, that's it.
And this is what I think of it after a year of ownership. I'll answer one of the biggest questions that might come up. Do I regret getting this? The answer is yes and no. So I regret getting this because it is not exactly what I wanted. But I don't regret it because for what it is, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty decent. So that's the simplest way of answering that question. What I wanted is something lightweight and fast. So like the CB650R or the Z900 or something like that. It's still heavy, but it's comparatively lighter than this. So I wanted something like that. But obviously, budget doesn't allow that. It's a huge difference between these two bikes, these two segments of bikes. What is it like to own this bike? It's a fairly it's a fairly good looking bike. It's a head turner, of course. Um, this one time I did get into an awkward situation with the police where I was going slightly above the speed limit and I got caught, of course. And the officer, they were nice people, they even asked me whether this is a BMW. So that is a huge compliment for something like this. The engine also, like, it's one of the uh, best that Royal Enfield has to offer. Like, the engine is actually pretty nice. This it's the reason I even considered this series as well in the first place. If it still was like how the old 350s were, like the quality and all, how the things were made or how it felt, things like that, I would never consider the Royal Enfield. But first time riding the Interceptor back in, I don't know, 2019, 2018, that time frame, my initial impression was how much better it was compared to the old 350s and 500s. So because of that, it was something I considered. So like initially, Interceptor was my option, but the thing is, the Interceptor is a bit too small for me. Um, if you've seen my factory, by looking at the picture of me taking delivery of this bike, you would have seen how large I am in reality. So Interceptor was a bit small for me. Although what the Interceptor had was the uh, options. There were lots and lots of options for the Interceptor where you can get different handlebars, different foot pegs, or something like that to make it more accommodating for you. But I don't think this is bad either. Like it's in its infancy state when it comes to the things you can do to the bike. Speaking of doing things to your bike, it is obvious that I have added some accessories to it. I'll start off with one of the more obvious ones. It's the windshield. So in its stock form without the windshield, past 70 or 80 in the highways, um, it's a bit unbearable for me, especially with the poor choice I made on getting the MT Thunder 4 SV. The wind noise, especially with this helmet, was extremely unbearable. Um, I forced myself to slow down because it's worse than hearing a tornado inside your helmet. With this, it's not completely removed, but it's quite a lot better. At least under 60, 70, I could ride with my helmet open. For someone like me, I would still need something like extension, windshield extension. That's something I might add in the future. The second most obvious thing is the handlebars. So this is not the stock handlebars, this is the Bikeology Mini Ape handlebars. But in my personal opinion, it makes the bike more comfortable to ride long distances because you're not leant forward to reach. The reach is much more closer to your hands, to your body, instead of say something that resides over here. The original position is somewhere around here, where my arms are. I mean, hand is. So it's much more comfortable. There is concerns about people saying that it might not handle as good as before, but honestly, this is not a bike for handling. This is a bike for cruising and open roads or winding curves, something like that. Speaking of winding curves, the places I took this bike to. So I took it up a couple of times through Kudran Tunnel, the highway. Both of those times it handled quite well. And the other rides, I did I did hairpin runs and a bit of off-road, surprisingly, and it is manageable. But the thing is, you start to hate life because it's even though the weight is down low with that, it's easier to handle. It still is a heavy motorcycle. You just can't hide the fact it's 241 kilograms, and it will take a toll after some time, especially if you're not very fit, if you're not a fit individual. But if you want to do it, it is possible. So yeah. Anyway, I would suggest you to plan really carefully where you take your bike to. That would make the difference between actually enjoying the ride and being absolutely bitter about everything. The next thing I did is the Avenger mirrors. So the stock mirrors, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of circular mirrors, and this is the Bajaj Avenger mirror. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, but that is just my personal opinion. And the visibility too, it's actually quite nice. The only problem is if I'm standing while I'm in the normal position, riding position, I do not see I can only see like let's say this much, this area. I can only see this much area. I can't see further back, so I'll have to tilt my head down a little bit to see the whole area, to see what's behind me. So that's the only issue. And for the Bajaj Avenger, the amount of adjustability is not that great. So that's something you need to keep in mind if you are planning to get something like this. The next thing I've done is actually an evolution of what I've already done before. So earlier, I replaced the stock horn with the Wintone 75 air horn, which, even though it's loud and it's well heard, the issue is it can get damaged when it rains heavily. So what I did was I changed it to Royal Enfield's OEM horn. No, I don't know what specific model this belongs to, but what I can say is it sounds slightly higher pitched than the Interceptor's horn. I'll play a clip of it. The next thing I've done is this. This is the Sahara seat covers. These are not actually seats. These are seat covers. If you look, you can see the flap because I added it poorly. This is actually a recent thing. So I haven't taken it out for long rides yet. So I can't comment on the long range comfort, but the short distances so far, what I felt is like I'm sitting a little bit higher, obviously, and I have a lot more seating area so that I can sit more comfortably. Like my ass is not concentrated in one area, if you get what I mean. Um, it's generally more comfortable. And I forgot to mention these two things. These are the Trip Machine leather grip wraps. This adds a bit of thickness to the hand throttle and other side. I don't know. What is the other side called? I don't know. And I did add the tank pads as well. Although they look quite matching with the style, one thing I didn't like is how rigid they are. They are pretty rigid. They don't fold very easily. So because of that, it sticks out a little bit. Many people, many people shared their concerns, but I told like it's like that. Maybe I did things wrong. I don't know. But this is how it is. I did it myself, so I blame me if something actually bad happens. Next thing I've done is the Bikeology backrest. So, in my one of my earlier videos, I mean, shorts actually, I did show off the this thing, solo finisher. The problem with that is I'm a large person. Just this single seat is not enough space for me to adjust around. So for very long rides, what happened is, you see how this suddenly curves down, like it's an edge. There's an edge here. My butt would start sticking into it so much that it starts hurting like shit. Absolutely horrible pain after long rides. So I thought of putting the seat back on, and I did not like how it looks without anything on the back side. So I went ahead and got myself a Bikeology backrest. This does look pretty cool. But the problem is, if someone else that is the same size as me wants to sit as a passenger, there is very little to no space. So um, that's another reason to stay fit, I guess. Other than that, it looks very good. I think it actually adds a lot of style to the bike. Yeah, that's it. And these are just reflective stickers on the rims. And the LED indicators. But I already showed it off earlier. What else do I have planned for the future? I do like to do something about the headlight situation. It's mediocre, but since I don't go out too much at night anymore, like I don't have time to go anywhere, I usually I am no I'm not in a hurry to do anything about that. Other thing, I need to change the foot pegs. The thing is that the way this is positioned, it's a bit awkward. So it pushes your knee a bit upwards in an awkward position, especially in my state of fitness. The knees get sore like maybe half an hour or more of riding, so I need to constantly keep stretching in order to continue my journey. But that's just my fitness level and uh, body, whatever, I don't know the word. What all to look out for when you have this bike? So if you are one of the original first batch owners of this bike, you might have already done it, but if you still haven't, you gotta get the suppressor cap checked, because the first model that came, like the first suppressor cap, the spark plug cap, which came, had a leak when you pressure washed it. There's likely chance that water would leak inside the holes here, so they got it replaced. The other things to look out for is you are likely to press the brake pedal on not on purpose. but by accident will you ride, because your legs are like this. There's a natural tendency to press the brake, and what happens is multiple owners, they end up changing the back brakes quite early, like maybe 4,000 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers, something like that, which is very poor brake life. So what I would suggest is, next time while riding, try to keep the legs spread out, like your foot pointing the other direction, so that doesn't happen. The other thing to look out for is check the screws tightness. Some owners have had nightmares, like especially for these sprocket screws. It's almost loosened out. It almost came out. That's a nightmare fuel. That's a nightmare fuel. The other thing to look out for is the chains itself. The many owners, like almost 90% of the owners, has had to change the chain at very low kilometer, very low mileage, like maybe under 5,000 kilometers. Mine has done 4,300, but I am pretty much at the end of the adjustment range. As you can see, there's nothing much left. Mine is almost nearing its end, so that's also something to keep an eye out for. I'm not sure how well built the newer chain is, the replacement chain is. I haven't heard any complaints about after replacement of first chain set, the chain and sprocket set. As far as I know, there are no other complaints, like some manufacturing defects are there, but I think that's a thing with almost any bikes. That's an unfortunate thing, but you just keep an eye on how your bike performs, like how it behaves and all. But it can happen. The manufacturing defects can happen. So far, nothing has happened to mine. Knock on wood. Ah, yeah, this is the wood. Yeah, nothing so far has happened to mine. I hope nothing happens. Let's keep it that way. It's not really city bike, of course, but how this bike is tuned, how the engine is tuned, and how the gearing is and all, it's quite nice actually. So I don't have too many complaints about it, apart from the obvious size and weight thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my 1 year ownership thoughts and opinions of my Super Meteor 650. I do like it, but like I said, it's not what I wanted, but for what it is, I actually like it. If you have any questions, do leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. I'm not giving any guarantees that I will answer your question 100%. Thanks for watching. Bye.